Hey, what's up YouTube? Afro here. I'm here to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a really long time and just haven't gotten the time to do. Um, so here it is. 10 real dating tips that people aren't telling you. This is not a top 10 list. All of these facts are equally important. These are just 10 real dating tips that most people won't tell you. So if you're sick of hopeless romanticism and platitudes, then this is the video for you. Because people give you advice all the time, and I'm here to tell you the real truth, what you really need to hear for dating. Alright, starting off at 10, love yourself first. People who don't find self-worth in themselves are incapable of being loved by other people. One of my past relationships ended because my significant other thought that she was not worthy to be unconditionally loved. If this happens to you, remember that it is not your fault. It is an area that the other person has to grow in, and believe it for themselves. Stand by them, support them, but don't destroy yourself for them. Which very well leads into number 9. Don't waste your energy. Every day you wake up and expend your hard-earned energy dealing with other people. If the person you are with is a stressor or is in a bad place or making bad life decisions, don't give all of your energy to help them. You have to care about yourself too. Lifeguards are trained to push victims away when the victim grabs onto them while trying to be rescued, because the lifeguard can't save them if the lifeguard is drowning too. If your significant other is emotionally drowning/draining you, protect yourself and don't expend all of your energy on them. Number 8. Take pride in yourself. Many people will tell you to be yourself in dating, and while that's certainly true, there is still a need for some class. Certain nightclubs might not have a dress code, but don't you dare show up in your, as the English call it, skivvies, or your undergarments for a rave. Likewise, buy some new clothes that fit you and look fresh too. It still showcase your personal sense of style. It's hard for me to speak here because I am wearing my work shirt right now, which is not very impressive, but try to get the gist of what I'm saying here. If you can't afford new clothes, find some nice ones you already own. If you're going out to a place where you will meet possibly single members of the opposite sex, for the love of God, take a shower, brush your teeth, and chew mint gum. Also, put on some antiperspirant that doesn't smell like you just took a bath in antipesto. After all, it's up to you, big boy, or big girl. These tips are for everyone. Number 7. It's not all black and white, cut and dried. The first time you go out with someone should be an experiment. A fun two-person, unless you're courting in a group of friends, get together where you find common interests, create your first inside jokes, and make a memory that could possibly last your remaining lifetime. But it is not a date. I cannot stress that clearly enough. Now, I'm the absolute last person to condone cheating on someone. Slow down, it's dirty, it's dishonest, and it's wrong. But there is such a thing as keeping your options open, or as most men like to call it, playing the field. Although playing the field has a negative player connotation. It is okay to go out to lunch or coffee or even a movie with multiple people around the same time. Just be aware of when you start to have feelings for someone and tone it down with the rest at that point. But that's a great segue into number 6. You're either in or you're out. Before you start getting serious with someone, look inside yourself and clearly and decisively decide if you want to be with that person or not. In fact, I would suggest not using the words I love you until you are absolutely certain that you do. I completely destroyed one of my best relationships I've ever had by being indecisive about what I wanted and moving way too fast. Don't follow in my footsteps. Know what you want and go forth with great zeal, but tread carefully before you do. Number 5. Pedestals are for Olympians. This one kind of ties into number 9's point. Now, I know this is especially hard for middle/early high school age guys who are just discovering their interest in women. Or maybe I'm just an old fogey who knows nothing about the youth. But don't put the opposite sex on a pedestal. I know it's an easy trap to fall into. I fall into it a ton of the time myself. The solution? It's just an exercise in recognizing that everyone has faults. That boy or girl or LGBTQ that you have a crush on is just as human as any of the rest of us, with ambitions, hopes, dreams, and flaws. Yes, even some flaws. They are not so scary that you can't just walk up and talk to them. In the end, if they say yes, cool, relationship. If they say no, life continues the same as it was and you lose minimal to no skin off your nose. Number 4, get rejected, but don't get dejected. That's an actual quote from the long since canceled yet vastly underrated true TV show called Guy Code. Given their tips were more about getting laid and not getting a date, but heck, whatever, they were still funny. I've been rejected at best guess nearly 300 times in my life. I asked out nearly every girl at my high school and didn't really start getting wiser about dating until my 1 year stint in college. Out of all the women I've asked out, I've had, well, let's see, carry the 3 out of 6, 5 first dates and 1 online relationship. Out of those, 2 would say that they were once my girlfriend, and 3 could say they truly love me. The longest of those relationships, if you can call them that, lasted on and off for about 8 months. Out of nearly 306 women I've asked out, I got 6 to say yes. The greatest mentor of my life once told me, if you're getting more yeses than nos, your standards are too low and you're dating the wrong type of women. We also have to accept that society has changed. Romantically speaking, females are the dominant half of the species when it comes to dating. That doesn't mean we should give up trying, though. If a girl rejects you, that's fine. Move forward and try again. Number 3, the power. There is a phenomenon in relationships that occurs in the hearts of both parties. Love itself is a test of vulnerability. And in being that, it's also a test in trust. Emotional investment or emotional attachment is the actual emotional feeling of love itself, the bond, the glue between 2 individuals. It's the reason why makeout sessions and sex feels like you're on LSD, and breakups feel like getting stabbed with a molten lead pipe through the chest. When we get emotionally invested in someone, or when they get emotionally invested in us, it's a really scary thing both ways. You suddenly realize that you have the ability to emotionally, mentally, and spiritually break another person, and that they also have the power to emotionally, mentally, and spiritually break you, like Bane breaking the Batman, only about 10 times worse. If only one person is emotionally invested at any given time in the relationship, they have the power in the relationship and control their partner like a puppet on a string. This is where trust comes in. In a good relationship, both people are emotionally invested and both people wield the power together. They are able to wield it together because they trust that if the other person loses emotional investment, that they won't break their partner like a toy. If your partner breaks up with you, do not, and I stress, do not beg for them back. It gives them the power and you will never ever get it back. Number 2, a rather grim fairy tale. Relationships are not fairy tales. I cannot stress that enough. Anyone who hasn't gotten their heart broken a number of times will never believe me or anyone when we say it, but relationships are not all they're cracked up to be. And the mainstream media sells the lies like a con man sells a hobo a bag of golden flies. Television, Facebook, which I'd love to do another video about, movies, magazines, and the Mad Men media moguls will tell you that everything will be better, that you will be happier if you are in a relationship with a sexually desirable partner. But believe me, ladies and gentlemen, that sentiment could not be farther from the truth. Relationships take time and effort. It's not going to be beautiful, wedded bliss, cake for breakfast, just married, rode off into the sunset, mumbo-jumbo bliss. And if it is, either you worked your ass off to make it that way, you're dating a robot, or you and your partner are not being honest with each other. There's going to be fights, possibly many of them. Ladies, men will let you down with stupid mistakes 90% of the time. They'll unintentionally say or do something that hurts your feelings. Men, Women are going to be a little ridiculous and confusing sometimes. I'm sorry, but we'll never completely understand how they tick. That is okay. The point of all of this is relationships are hard, but if you fight hard, love harder. Say you're sorry, apologize. Guys, sometimes even if it's not your fault. In my own experience, you don't know how many times apologizing has taken the anger right out of a situation. Not even lying. Just keep in mind that relationships are fun and good if you put in the time and effort to make them fun and good. And my number one dating tip, be confident. If you remember nothing, if you take away nothing else, take away this. Guys, do you want to know the secret that no one's told you about how to attract women? Ladies, do you want to know the biggest secret to being more desirable to men? Confidence. And it starts with loving yourself first. Okay, you say to me, how do I get this confidence? Funny thing is, kid, it lives in you. You just have to develop it. Everybody is good at something. Find that something and be proud of it. Do not get cocky. Cockiness and arrogance is one of the grossest traits in a human being, and no one, and I mean no one, will like you if you are constantly cocky. Confidence, on the other hand, is realizing that you have strengths, being realistically proud of your strengths, and playing to them. Personal example, I know that I have a talent for singing. I realize that I'm not the absolute best by a long shot, but I do have a penchant for it. It's my niche, my forte, so to speak. Interesting fact, forte in music doesn't mean loud, it's actually Italian for the word strong. True story. I once met a woman who had been with her boyfriend for 10 years and had 2 children at a bar. We got to talking, and she noticed my very handsome friend, and I said that I was jealous of him for his looks. Later on, after hearing me sing and perform, she told me that I should be having women flock to me because I had what? Confidence. I got kissed by that lady that night, and it stuck with me ever since. That night was a real confidence booster, too. The point is, confidence is the key. If you have nothing else, you can almost always bank on confidence. After all, that's how the drunk guys do it. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. Hello to everybody out there in YouTube land. Hope you're having a great day. If you're just joining us or you've been watching this long, I have one more tip for you that I've only told a few people. I have developed over the years a secret formula to love. Here it is. For the first time ever, the secret formula for love. Step 1, the spark. There has to be some initial attraction or at least not immediate repulsion. Step 2, confidence and action. You can't go anywhere unless you meet the person you like and talk to them, because the next step is honest communication. Talk for as long and as in-depth as you can. It is really good to talk about something stupid you did that is funny. Make them laugh, because humor is the hook to the heartstrings, and also it lets the other person see that you're willing to open up and that you have the confidence and self-esteem or love of self to not care what others think about stupid mistakes you've made. This helps them to relax and open up, and bang, once there's honest communication, bam, the training wheels come off and the front door opens. Step 4, trust. Trust is the most important part of love. You cannot love someone unless you trust them, because the deeper you fall in love and the farther you go with someone, the more vulnerable you become. Trust is the gas that makes love's car go. And without it, the car just sits there. And yes, I do realize that I just said cargo. Anyways, step 5, affinity. No, not the credit union. Affinity is described as the friendship feeling. It is best described as liking someone and wanting to be around them simply because you like being around them. It is a friendship bond. This is good for a while, but without moving on to step 6, you may end up in the friend zone. Step 6, courage/confession. Love would be so much easier if we weren't conditioned to think that we'd be automatically rejected if we told our crush how we really felt. Another golden fly from the mainstream media. Imagine Dragons said it best in their song Top of the World with the lyrics, "If you love somebody, better tell them while they're here, 'cause they just may run away from you." If you love someone, and you're absolutely sure that you love them, tell them you love them. At an appropriate moment, of course, unless an appropriate moment is not possible. It is not only extremely good for your emotional, mental, and spiritual health, but it's also super respectful to them. It makes them free to make the choice that they weren't granted until you told them. Step 7. Risk/reward. I'm not going to lie to you. It's ultimately up to the other person if they want to date you. You can't make somebody love you, but steer the ship in the right direction. If they say no, everyone wins. Pat yourself on the back anyway. You just did what 90% of the people in this world can't do and got the courage to admit your feelings of affection for another person. Move forward and try to be friends with this person if you can without emotionally hurting yourself. Nothing is worth the cost of your happiness. I mean, it should be fairly simple. You already like hanging out with this person. Just keep doing that and try again with someone new. Don't be afraid to keep trying. Step 8. Love. If they say yes, everyone really wins. Love your partner with all you have. You have something extremely precious and rare. The unconditional love of another human being that at one point you didn't even know existed. Cherish the love you share. Don't stop just because they said yes. Put in the time and effort to make it work. Remember to respect yourself and don't let yourself drown no matter what happens. If you make love fun and good, then love will be good and fun. Thanks for watching. Check out my other channels, Epic Games and Game Bros. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Really hope your dog is still tuning into Afro X. Keep YouTubing, YouTubers. Don't fight the fro. And always remember to stay legendary. Welcome to Livestream Month!